All right, welcome back to my high school football championship series for College Football 26, streaming live on Twitch and replays later on YouTube. Quick reminder that all of these teams are available for download and use in your College Football 26 video game. Simply search my username down there at the bottom, Jordan94, and you can download and import any number of these teams for use in your game as well. They all feature 5 uniform options and custom rosters. Make sure that you're searching my username that you're searching in the username search box and not in the keyword search box. All right, so quick look at the, I'm sorry, wrong card. That's the weekly standings. I'm looking for the schedule. Here we go. The weekly schedule for week 5. I keep hitting those wrong buttons. We just wrapped up game 3 of week 5, Ellender versus South Terrebonne. So we're moving on to our final game of the week, which is South Lafourche at Central Lafourche, two rivals there down the bayou. So we're going to wrap this up and get on to that game here right now. Let's get to it. So here is the matchup. This is what we're looking at. And as you can see, very evenly matched teams. Let's see how this one is going to work out. We have got some alternate uniforms here today. So Central Lafourche will be in their alternate home uniforms, which is basically green on green with the yellow helmet. And then we've got South Lafourche that will be in their alternate away uniforms, which is basically just white on white with their blue helmets. I kind of like their blue helmets over those white ones that they use. All right, South Lafourche, of course, some interesting alumni for both of these teams. South Lafourche features, uh, they're the alma mater of former NFL quarterback Bobby Hebert, who played for the New Orleans Saints and Atlanta Falcons there in the late 80s, early 90s. And also, Coach Ed Orgeron is a South Lafourche alum as well. Both of those guys played on the team together that won a state championship. And Central Lafourche is the alma mater of former LSU quarterback Tommy Hodson. So just some interesting notes there. All right, let's move on to the game. We've got clear skies this week. We're setting it for an 8 p.m. kickoff because we are playing under the Friday night lights. Let's go on to Raceland, Louisiana, which is just outside of Houma, just a little bit, kind of in between, off to the side, I guess to the east of Houma a little bit, not far from Thibodaux, kind of in that area. Um, but yeah, for this matchup, and I'm going to kick it off to the broadcast booth and catch you guys on the other side once we find out how this one shakes out.
The kickoff team is on the field, and we're ready to get this one underway. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. As we take a quick look at the impact players for today's game, what players did you guys look to for motivation to make an impact during your playing days, Jesse?
Well, it was the guys we relied on each and every week. We came into the season expecting these types of guys to be our biggest weapons, and every week those were the guys that had to deliver for us in order to have success.
And they get to the quarterback and knock him down back at the 16.
This defense knew coming into tonight they had to be able to get pressure on the quarterback, and they are wasting no time. They get a sack on the first play of the game.
So they'll try to make up some of that ground on second down from the 16. Wants to go up top. A strike downfield. They're able to get him stopped just shy of the first down marker. It's third down from their own 34 as they try to keep the drive moving. Trying to pick it up on the ground. Oh, he's got some space. Rolls inside the 30 and out of bounds at the 29, and now they're threatening.
No secret sauce, no tricking people. Third down and one. I got to be the more physical team, Jesse, and they were.
And it's so nice, too, when you've got playmakers like that guy that can take a play that's only designed maybe to get a couple yards and turn it into a big gainer. This offense is loaded with weapons.
They make the stop, but he got work done on the ground
get loud. That's the way it's been so far, but they have a nice drive to open it up. They're able to execute. They put themselves in field goal range, knock it through the uprights. They did exactly what they needed to do, taking a 3-0 lead here early on the road. That's impressive.
On the run from inside his own 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. And Jesse, this is going to be a fun test. This receiver, if you leave him in man coverage, you might be in for some trouble.
And so when you get him in the one-on-ones, you got to throw his way. He's a really good route runner. He can catch the football. And then when the defense decides to double cover and take him away, that's when you go somewhere else with the football or you run it. The balance in this offense, based on how they play him, I think is big today.
Yeah, and that's what you've got to do as a defense. Sometimes you double team him, sometimes you play zone, mix it up, give different looks, because he is a guy. He's shown the ability to burn your defense and make big plays.
8-yard pickup on first down leaves them with 2nd and short. Out of the gun, the running back has it. Has plenty for the first down, and they stop him at the 28. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Might as well run him until they stop him. He's got it again. They get him stopped at the 32. That's a gain of 4. Solid pickup of 4 on first down. It's 2nd and 6. Gets it past the marker. Great pickup as they'll keep this drive moving, and they've got it at the 45. They've gotten this drive going. A couple of first downs already. It's 1st and 10 from the 45. Use the play fake. Now a throw. Fires to the right. Makes the grab. And a big-time grab there. Knocked down immediately, but not before he gets it to the 40. Now the play fake. Can't make the connection, and the defense putting on the heat and forcing the incompletion. Backed up now. Here's 2nd and long. After the incompletion, they go back up top. Snagged out of the air. And he's able to bounce off one tackle, but still not a whole lot of running room. Trying to move the sticks on 3rd down through the air. Intercepted. Big play. Stops the drive. And they'll drag him down after a good return on the interception.
And defensive backs you think don't have good hands. The big fella shows it. How about that defensive back going up and getting the interception? Nice job breaking on the football. You say that's why you play defense, because you don't have hands? Yeah, I beg to differ.
So we'll see the offense on the field to start this drive. Looking downfield on first down. Fired just a little too long as the junior frustrated. He missed that connection. Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. They'll give it to the back. There he goes. They'll get him down, but not before he crosses the 50. He's down to the 49. So they move the sticks on the run. Let's see what they do with this one. Got his man in the middle. They pick up half of it. It'll be 2nd and 5. Bunch formation for these receivers. They'll run the toss. He has the first and still on his feet. At the 20, he's got space. And he's in for the score. Touchdown.
And to have a rushing touchdown of that type of yardage, you've got to be able to make something miss. It's one thing to get into the 2nd level, but can you make that last defender miss? And you saw it on that play. Once he was in the clear with his speed, he was gone.
They'll try to tack one more on their score. And with the extra point, they're now up by a touchdown and a field goal at 10. Quick work on that scoring drive, just 4 plays. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. And the offense heads out onto the field to get the drive started. Wants to go up top on first down. second down. Gives it to the back on the draw. Runs ahead and powers his way for 4 yards out to the 30. This is where you make the money on the drive. Ball at the 30, it's third and short. From the gun, wants to pass. Makes the catch. And boy, is he close to that first down, maybe just a couple of inches short. He completes the pass, but short of the sticks. Results the same. Here comes the punt team. And you make the stop, and that is exactly what you want out of your punt cover unit. They'll christen this drive from the 28-yard line. Under fire. And here comes the heat, and they get home, and they get him at the 21.
When it's a play-action pass, that quarterback, he really has to sell the fake. He can't tell his offensive lineman's getting beat right away while he's selling the fake. He had no shot.
Didn't make it any easier on themselves on first down. Now second and long from the 21. Back to pass. Both teams wanted to establish the run, and they have done exactly that in the first quarter. Big turning point as we head into the second and get this game rolling again. So they go back to work after the break, and it is third down. Looking to throw, and he needs a bunch. And the pressure gets him back at the 8-yard line. Things working pretty well for this defense, out of the dime package and still getting plenty of heat on the quarterback.
Get off the rock, understand the situation. All the fast guys got the back end covered. It's my job to seek and destroy the quarterback. Great job by the defensive line rushing after that guy and getting him on the ground.
The punt team makes its way onto the field. 3 and out, they got stuck in reverse. They hope the punt can bail them out. Excellent coverage that time. Didn't give him any room to set up a big return. Offense making its way onto the field to start the drive. He lets it fly. And incomplete on the deep ball. Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on second down. He leads some space. Fair catch is signaled and made, and they'll go to work from the 27-yard line. Let's see if they can get something going here late in the half. Looking to throw on first down. And the pass rush is effective, and they tackle him at the 19.
This quarterback is thinking to himself, I need to get an NIL deal at some restaurant so I can take my offensive line out and feed them more, because I don't think they like me very much when I'm there. I've been sacked 6 times in this game. It's time to get that new NIL deal paycheck.
This offensive line has just been unable to keep them away from the quarterback. Now it's second and long. They go to the ground. This time he doesn't get loose, and finally the defense gets him bottled up behind the line. Referee signals timeout as the defense wanting to make sure that they have everything just right with a big play coming. On third and long, no secret what he needs here. And they can't hook up on the big play, and that brings up a fourth down. And here comes the punt team. 3 and out, and not much choice but to get rid of the ball. Surprisingly makes a fair catch just outside the 40-yard line. No reason to be in a big rush. They have some time here late in the half. They'll start this drive going to the air, using the quick game. They make the stop at the 41, but it's a 15-yard pickup, and they're rolling with a first down. Last completion moved the sticks in. Let's see if they try it again. Looking to throw on first down. Unloads to the wideout. Can't quite make the connection there. Might have led him a little too much. So now it's second and long. Back to pass. Gets it out quickly. This junior making his presence felt and making the stop after a short gain. It'll be third and long. Shoots it to the left. And they can't make the play on third down. And they're running out the kicker to give it a try. He says he's got a big leg. He's going to have to show it from 56 yards out. Did he call bank on that one? Off the left upright and good. And guys, that 3-ball has us all tied up here in the second.
And not to be the old guys in the booth, but we are the old guys in the booth, man. 50-yard field goals used to be really, really hard. Kickers nowadays, man, they are making it look so much easier, and he does right there.
Here he comes with the return. He was looking for more running room, but none to be found as he stopped at the 23. This drive opens up at the 23-yard line. Toss to the outside. Good, solid, determined run there. They'll mark him down at the 27. After the productive first down play, it's second and 6. Wants to throw. He's working against the clock. Quickly to the tight end. The offense will have to use its first timeout of the half. Ball sitting right at the 30. It'll be third and short. They'll try to get the first through the air. Caught over the middle. It's Petrie. Love to see these third down conversions on offense, and they're out to their own 39-yard line. Let's see if they can put the defense on its heels in first and 10. Wants to throw on first down. Got it in the middle. It's Petrie. They'll immediately call timeout. They bring him down, but not before he's able to pick up the first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. To the air on first down. Here's a heat. On the move and looking deep. Makes the grab along the left sideline for the huge gain.
Man, this offense is so dangerous, Reese. They've got dudes all over the field that can make plays. There's a big gainer in the pass game.
You get a chunk of yards like that, now the defense is really on its heels. One snap coming before they head to the locker room. They want to throw it. Going for 6. And it's caught. Touchdown.
Man, I just love the execution by this offense. Late in the half, man, you want to take the lead. You want to get that momentum on your side, and they do it. They finish it with the passing game. I'll tell you what, keep that passing game up. You can
bring it back from inside his 5. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. Guys, this offense will go back on the attack. First play from scrimmage, and they'll keep it on the ground. Stacked up after gaining a couple to the 23. Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on second down. Off the bootleg, looking to fire. Pulls it in. It's Adams. He smashes his way through again. Across the 35, out of bounds at the 36, and a really good pickup as they're starting to move.
Offenses love the explosive plays through the air, pushing the ball down the field. And look at this. Sometimes it creates some momentum, and you want to capitalize. So you go get on the ball and get ready to run some no-huddle.
Makes the grab. Brings it to the open. And he's brought down after a nice gain. The offense sets up shop at the 46 on first down.
Nice job by the quarterback, seeing the receiver come over, getting him the football, making the first down, and they like to do this. When they make a first down, they want to go fast. They want to crank up the tempo.
Grabbed behind the line. It's Adams. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of
picking up the first.
Makes the catch. And the defense had that one well covered, just a short gain there. Let's see what they do on third down. Not only is the scoreboard on their side, but so too is time as we open the fourth. After swapping ends of the field, that gave them a little time to figure out how they'll open the final period here on third down. Got his man downfield. Really nice job to convert that third down, and they've got it at the 33.
And it's frustrating as a defense when you give up that first down and give up that pass play. But here we go with this offense. They're right back on the ball. You got to flush that. You got to get lined up, and you got to communicate.
Ran pass, it's complete. This junior making his presence felt and making the stop after a short gain. Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. Wants to go up top. Throws for the tight end. Just a Barishnikov-like move on the sideline to tap that toe and get the first down. They'll leave it with him. Picked up maybe a yard. It's down at the 16. After picking up a couple, it's 2nd and 8. Back to pass. And the pass is incomplete thanks to a big hit. Now facing a 3rd and long. It's a draw. He stopped right there, short of the first down, and this defense trying to preserve the lead. So on 4th down, here comes the field goal kicker in a huge spot. And this one is perfect. That'll bring him to within 4.
And I think I understand the thought process in the offense here. You cut into the lead. Now a touchdown wins it. I might have stayed a little bit more aggressive, but they obviously trust their defense, and they're trying to get the football back to this offense and try to make plays late in the fourth quarter.
The returner will field it and try to set up his offense in great field position. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. They're going to throw it to start the drive. And he fires over the middle. It's incomplete. Backed up now. Here's 2nd and long. They'll go to the ground. He'll be stopped just short of the 20 at the 19. Give him 1. They've got to come up with a big play on this 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. And the quarterback caught up to and sacked at the 12.
The defense has been so dominant up front. You've seen it in these passing situations. That now, the 7th sack of the game.
Punt team makes its way onto the field. Doesn't say much for your drive when you're looking forward to the punt. And the punt team able to sling him to the ground. They'll run this play from the pistol. Wants to throw on 1st down off the play fake. And they dialed up a shot play, but they couldn't make the connection. Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. The give to the back. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. Power football with the one. Tackled right at the 43-yard line, and this D didn't let him sniff that 1st down marker. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. They bring the punter onto the field now. They'll look to pin him deep. Punt goes out of bounds, and a really nice job as they stick them deep in their own end. They'll mark it around the 10.
the tight end shows off his speed. See his ability there to separate from the defender trying to cover him on that drag route.
On first down from their own 22. Looking downfield on first down. The short hands. It's Dillon. Makes the stop at the 32, but he picks up 10 on that play. With a first down, they'll snap it from the 32. They'll keep it on the ground, trying to milk the clock. Picks up the first down, still moving. Tackled at the 43 after picking up 10.
When the offense can run the football and you can feature a guy like this that will get more yards than his block, that you can really depend on, hangs on to the football, like it makes offense super easy, especially down the stretch when you want to eat that clock and you want to possess the football. Just nice to have that kind of guy.
And he'll pick up one. It brings up 2nd and 9. Quick timeout called by the defense, stopping the clock to save as much time as possible for their offense. Off the bootleg to buy a little space. Good quickness to grab it off the deflection. Defense uses a timeout quickly, trying to get that ball back and preserve time for their offense. Now on first down from the 43. They'll try to pop the draw. And a nice run there before the defense finally makes the stop. Got 8 on first down, now looking at a 2nd and 2. The lone back's got it. All down, but he has enough to move the chains. We'll head to the 2-minute timeout. Tight ball game here, and this offense will try to milk the clock. Looking for a productive play on first down. The quarterback takes a snap and takes a knee. They've got a solid drive working, but now looking at 2nd and 11. Motion from the wide receiver. Give to the running back. And a really short game before he gets a whole bunch of company from the defense. Their work here is virtually done. No need to take any more chances. They'll line up in victory formation.
Well, that does it for game 4 of week 5, and South Lafourche High School ekes out the victory against Central Lafourche by a score of 24-20 in another close game. Central Lafourche now drops 2 in a row after losing last week in an upset against Morgan City and another close matchup. So Central Lafourche kind of taking a bit of a skid here, while South Lafourche, um, let's see, did they win last week? No, South Lafourche lost last week as well. So I had to look at my numbers here and my notes. Okay, let's look at the stats real quick. As always, I can't keep track of stats in game from week to week, so we just take a look at them at the end of every game. For anyone who wants to keep track at home, you can do so. All right. Let's see. Kobe Savoy, 17 to 26, 222 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Pretty decent day throwing the ball. Central Lafourche definitely had the better passing game today. Running game kind of struggled a little bit. Usually, these two guys right here are usually a two-headed monster for Central Lafourche, but they kind of struggled getting anything going. South Lafourche did a good job of keeping those guys bottled up today. Receiving wise, just four guys caught the ball. That's all. Poindexter had a big touchdown catch. Usually those plays don't work. It was a third down and a third down bomb that the CPU loves to go for all the time, and they hardly ever work, but it worked that time. All right, some blocking stats, and then move on to the defensive stats here. I don't believe Central had a takeaway. I believe it was just South Lafourche with the takeaway. So let me just scroll down here real quick for anyone keeping track on all these guys, and I'll come right back up. I don't always I don't scroll over on these unless something notable happened. Kicking stats, 2 for 2 on field goals by Mr. Dufran. And then our punting stats here. And now let's take a look at the South Lafourche stats. Not a bad day in the air for Filinich here. 16 of 22 for 172 yards and 1 touchdown. Pretty decent day throwing the ball, but they really came through on the ground game today, man. Jake Williams was a beast for South Lafourche. 17 carries, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He had that big touchdown run there early in the game. Filinich made some plays with his legs. There's a lot of sack yardage accounted into this. I seem to have to say that on every game, but he definitely made some plays with his legs as well. And then here's some of the backup running backs numbers. And then receiving another big game came from this guy right here, Mr. Mathern. 9 catches, 104 yards, and a touchdown from the tight end. That was pretty much South Lafourche's offense right there. Was throwing to the tight end and handing the ball off to number was it 23 here. That was pretty much their whole offense, and that was what pretty much did it in for Central Lafourche, especially at the end. They just weren't able to stop that running game, and South Lafourche was able to run that clock out and prevent Central from having another opportunity there at the end. There's the interception for you right here. So that was that turnover. Go through these stats for defense, and then we will call it a night. Go through here. I try to go slow if I can for people that want to pause. Kicking stats, just 1 for 1, and punting stats, there we go. So that does it once again. Central Lafourche now dropping 2 in a row, losing a tight game to their inter-parish rivals because they both of these teams are in Lafourche Parish, which is just outside of Terrebonne Parish, and South Lafourche winning 24 to 20. All right, that does it for this game. We are going to go ahead and wrap this up. So I'll go to the pause screen, and then I'll be right back for the wrap up, and we'll call it a night. Stick with me. I'll be right back.